everybody. Welcome back to Language, Litigation, and Integration Part 199, Casual Treason. I am your host, Bradley Bowes. You know how we do it on this one? The primary function of this lecture series remains to bring to light that I am the victim of ongoing criminal activity. My constitutional rights are violated. The Article 1, Section 8, Subsection 7 of the United States Constitution grants me my right to my writings and my discoveries. My writings and my discoveries are prolific. My property is being stolen. All of the consequences of my proofing are being transmitted through academia and through all accreditation sources, and they don't cite their sources, and that is a fraud. So, and my credentials withheld. So, Article 1, Section 8, Subsection 7 is in direct violation, and so is the Fifth Amendment guaranteeing me compensation for distribution of private property for public use. And so, refusing to do anything like that, again, whether it's giving me a time for publication or simply giving me a time to manage my money, it has absolutely destroyed my sense of safety for the past my entirety of my life. But the last 7 years of my life has just been absolute chaos. Every 2 days, 2 weeks, 2 months, I get disrespected, denigrated, or flat out get someone committing a crime against me and intimidating me, threatening me, harassing me, menacing. All of this stuff has never stopped, not 1 minute of one day. Once 2 years go by, it never happened at all. So to my old neighbor Adam, whose kids listened to me sing and was like, whoa, and he really shoot him along, man. Like, I need somebody to have the decency to either enforce the law or simply give me a time frame. No publication, and you put a note on my door that says, hey, hottie, why not put, hey, man, maybe in 3 to 5 years, maybe. So we're just giving me money, man. I need a way to pay bills, and I'm ostracized from society to the point where no one cares. And then my own family members will say stuff to me in my own home, who would even want to help you, and maybe you deserve to be where you're at. No, I don't deserve to be treated like shit. I don't deserve to get denigrated and disrespected every time I offend somebody for saying the truth. I really, really don't. But it's to the point where it's just financial stress, and there's nobody in my family that will accept that not being able to pay bills causes financial stress, like causes psychological discomfort. But, and again, it's not just like I have a failing business, or I have this, or I have that. It's I don't have constitutional rights. It's a different level of just what the fuck is going on. So, wanted to put that out there. And again, I am open to jobs. I have been applying. Like, I can't get an interview for anything. And I am open to any relocation. I would go to any country. A lot of these people applying to jobs, like they have families or they have ties to a community. I have nothing. If I had a real job offer, $70K plus anywhere in the United States or abroad, again, I have to make sure the cost of living makes sense, but I would rent out my house and leave today. I want to go out into the world and do stuff. And I've worked so hard and so long. Imagine I was your child. Whoever is stealing this video today, imagine I was your child. I know you don't care because I teach you things and I scold you because I'm more mature than you. Somehow that just absolves you from realizing that I'm just a human being suffering. And all I need is money. There's nothing wrong with me. There never has been. I have been scapegoated by an entire species of people. Struggle to call them people anymore. They're just children that never grew up. And so, as the main function of this lecture series, again, by the end of the summer, I'm going to be absolutely fucked. And again, I can't buy a business. If I buy a business, then I have to sell a business later. So it's like, I have enough money where I could try to acquire another business. There's no good options. If I try to acquire another business, I'm sure it will fail, and then I'll be out of everything. I can't get a meaningful job of any stature to my credentials. And then if I have to go work a low-end retail job, my fucking back is shit. And so I'm begging for healthcare, I'm begging for mercy, I'm begging for decency, I'm begging for constitutional rights, I'm begging for one person to treat me like a human being. Imagine I was your child, look at the work I've done, look what I've put out into this world, look at my skill sets, look at my competence, and let me do something, please. And remember, what you have done to me, I will do to you. There is no exceptions, this is war. And so, start off today with a lot of casual treason because, again, everybody that is not disseminating scientific information is sabotaging the well-being of their own country, which is what treason is. And when it's at a global scale, I don't know what treason for a species is, just everyone's causing death and suffering throughout this entire world. And so, we will be discussing, there's a lot of UFO, and now we're going with non-human intelligence buzz recently. So we'll start off with those things because there's a lot about that recently. And then normal talking points, no real personal stories today, and besides the one related to the non-human intelligence. And yeah, that's about it. So yeah, I have a lot of Reddit buzz around highly qualified interview with David Grush, 36 male, saying the U.S. has intact and partially intact craft of non-human origin. Jonathan Gray confirmed the existence of exotic materials and said, "We are not alone." And is not restricted to U.S. encounters. Obviously. Again, just reviewing quotes and stories I've told you 1,000 times. Again, since moving into Grafton Park until I moved into this house, it was every other day someone would approach me and confirm something. Again, unsolicited. Me just standing on my porch, someone just walking up next to me and saying, yeah, well, there's a lot of UFO data out of the Atlantic Ocean, or out of the Pacific Ocean. Or, again, the quotes that I've written down. Literally confirmed to me in person, unsolicited completely, is that there's some sort of material. So that is absolutely bona fide true. Confirmed to me without solicitation whatsoever. But then again, the we weren't sure thing is just amazing. The white chick that says, thank you for clarifying that for us. We weren't sure. Again, directly saying I knew about the aliens before I uploaded one YouTube video. When you unify the natural sciences, you guys don't have PhDs in every subject. I literally actually do. And so you guys just don't know how to ration and reason. That's not, forget aliens. You guys don't know how to behave. You guys don't know how to make rational decisions. You're not scientific minded. You don't know how to reason. You just react to the behavior and the insecurities of the groups you're in. Facts. And so, just seeing these things, it's like these things have been confirmed to me over 2 years ago. And what was some of the other one? But again, there was at least 2 confirmed bona fide from Sasha Mama. And for the people that don't know who Sasha Mama is, there's just the people at the apartments. There was a dog named Sasha, and whoever's walking her, I just call her Sasha Mama. And so she confirmed to me that there was at least 2, that they're not from here. And so they absolutely have, again, I forget if it was Grush or Gray or whoever, but they said there was at least 12 to 15 craft that they know of, absolutely, completely consistent with what's been confirmed with me. But there was at least 2, meaning they had know of 2 distinct different civilizations. Civilizations are everywhere. My intuition can't get past Earth, let alone the solar system, let alone the sun. And so that has been confirmed to me. Then when I said, so also when I was at Grafton Park, again, all stories I've already told, but I was like, check, because some of the non-human intelligences are so anatomically similar, they can pass as human beings, maybe with a little bit smaller teeth. Do you have big teeth? But again, I was like, check all of your FBI agents and all your check all your federal agents and see if you got real backgrounds in all of them. To which they said, word for word, we already know that, meaning there's some sort of integration, language, litigation, and integration of speciality. Again, there are no closed systems. We weren't the center of the solar system 500 years ago. We were never the center of life. And so, these are all things that have been absolutely confirmed to me. But I wanted to, where there was a couple other, so that was, I guess, I watched some of the David Grush thing. But again, I just want to talk about, again, his behavior. He literally says that, it took him 4 years before he was convinced. And right in science, this idea of being a healthy skeptic. Oh, I'm not convinced until I see it's proven. You guys don't understand proof when it's sitting in front of you. Cannabis is medicine. It cures cancer in any more word of curing, taking to complete remission. So it's like, forget aliens. You guys can't look at biological proof and make any sort of reasonable decision making because of sentiment, because of stigma. Oh my gosh, drugs are bad, cannabis is bad. No. You guys just don't know how to do science. When a proof sits in front of your face, you just deny it. And when someone solves all of science in 1 hour, has enough logical proving in 1 hour to unify the natural sciences, and does this continually for 7 years, you guys are the experts? David Grush and James Fox and David Favor and all of these people who, thinking from baseline with no evidence whatsoever that we are the center of anything is so fucking selfish. The maturity level of our species is about 7%, meaning we can do about, if 100% is the things we need to do to function, we can get to about 7. Everyone behaves like 14-year-olds that are selfish and pathetic. You insult them and offend them, they will just shut down, and it will become a pissing match amongst illiterate people. And so the fact that, again, there's no healthy skepticism when people do not know how to come to correct scientific conclusions. And it's not deductive, it's a proof. It's done, period. Move on. But we can't. We would never ever actually change our behavior. It will never happen. So then an interesting one. A Las Vegas family calls 911 saying there are aliens in their backyard. The 911 call and police body cam saw an emerald orb. They blacked out the body cam in the backyard, ? The caller seemed to be totally legitimate. For me, James Fox says he thinks he's lying. Who lies about this stuff? Like that's the thing, is like, to get attention and fame, it's like one viral video makes you like, what, $3,000 if you have a monetized YouTube channel? So it's like, just like the motivation. People are just, again, they come from a place where they think it's like healthy skepticism, and it's just scientific denial, and they're not competent human beings. And so that the report guys seem to absolutely legitimate to me. Again, tall, thin, gray is part of what I would call reptilian, but they're lighter than us in terms of like bone density, very thin, both tall and short. But then another quote is like, I very confident I saw what I would classify as an amphibian, but like a big, stocky thing that kind of looked like a human being, like passable as a human being, but like a big bone thing. And I was almost certain it could breathe through its like it had the gills. And so, and then I said again, confirmation to me. I said, like it's like fun. This is the most like aliens really like unifying the natural sciences is a profoundly bigger achievement than reverse engineering some craft. And seriously. And so, from first principles, a complete logical proof that unifies the natural sciences. That's a once in a long time achievement. But nobody acknowledged me. There's no party. We don't. The Denver Nuggets gets a parade today, but Brad doesn't get to be able to eat food that he wants because nobody will let him live above poverty level. And by the end of the summer, I'm going to just be absolutely fucked. So I'm glad all of these people get to be involved. They get to go to different conferences and stuff and just do anything. I just want to do something. But I had confirmation, word for word, they do look different when I was definitely referencing, and again, can you hear me? Yes. When I was referencing like a thick amphibian. And so again, most of the life in the small planets, what I classify reptilian, meaning we have like scales, we're closer to just like reptilian type of like reptiles on our planet. Again, just complete human analogy of anatomy of classifications we have. But so those are all things that have been confirmed to me without question, bona fide 2 years ago. Again, I've been having these interactions my whole life. And it's just, I'm an anomaly. I don't know. I didn't say that. Brian Sullivan on CNBC did. And so, but the Las Vegas thing seemed to be completely legitimate, and James Fox is in no way a authority on absolutely fucking anything. And it's treason. Forget the aliens. Simply not disclosing scientific information sabotages the well-being of your own countrymen and of your own species mates. And so that's treason. Whether it's the people covering it up, or whether it's the people just not disclosing things, whether it's Sarah Eisen on CNBC, or Christine Varconi, or Matt Barnes, or Miles Harris, or what was it, Gary Lewis Jr., who's literally the chief of police. Or whether it's Mike Mayhew, who wouldn't give me a moving fee after, again, the sales community built your career. Or whether it's Peter Patton, that my dad built his career, but when as I'm over here, my parents go get a job. Okay, well, help me network. Help me network. Support me in some way. But no, it's just fuck Brad. But I'm glad we're listening to these experts. Again, James Fox, David Grush, Jonathan Gray, because the main public is like, what are their credentials? My credentials is I unify the natural sciences, and I've done more scientific derivation than the rest of the species combined, literally. Facts. And so if you have never been exposed to math, you have, again, I already proved the second part of Gödel's theorem completely incorrect, which is a massive mathematical result, way bigger than like solving like a Riemann hypothesis or one of the Millennium problems. And so word for word, syllable by syllable, sound by sound, in order. So my academic credentials are I had a global conspiracy form against me and actually destroyed my whole life. That's my credentials. But the Las Vegas one seemed completely legitimate to me. And again, the other one I wanted to follow was this Michael Herrera. So Michael Herrera, a former Marine, says he and 6 of his squad mates saw a hovering octagonal UFO being loaded with weapons by unmarked U.S. forces who threatened them at gunpoint while serving in Indonesia in 2009. Yes, FBI operator, I can say Indonesia, but guess what? I derive syllable by syllable, and languages are rounding errors to me. So when I'm doing live derivation in the evening, and I call you guys, I actually want my property released to me because you don't understand it actually slows down my creativity. Feeling financially stressed actually ruins my ability to do derivation. And when I die, which is I'm a normal fucking human being, science is going to stop for 100,000 years. And so you guys still just restrict science so much. This is great lessons for your children. Lie, cheat, and steal another man's entire life, and they go tell them they can be whatever they want in this world. Just be diligent, work hard, be consistent, be a good communicator, have a skill set, and then you'll have a job and a career and a wonderful life. Absolutely not. Not if you solve science other people cannot accept. And so they were threatened in 2009, but to the FBI operator, I was deriving like Sia, and like Rurushki, but again, obviously I'm not allowed to do science because we wanted to snuff out all science so we don't have to change our behavior. But he was told by an Air Force lieutenant in an unmarked, he had no insignia, you are not allowed to talk about what happened, you will go to prison or you will die. It says ship was the size of a football field, had scales, and got and got within 150 feet and were ambushed by men in black camouflage. Said they could audibly hear the guns switching off safety, and a lot of the dudes saying, "Let's just smoke these dudes right here." You should just go watch the interview. I think it was a presentation at this Greer, whoever that dude I think he can like summon aliens. No, they can definitely have like Call of Duty proximity chat. That's a real thing. But can you summon aliens? Get out. That's Looney Tunes. But regardless, what do I make of this one? But he says the phones were wiped. Well, the dudes, a couple of dudes wanted to smoke them. They were like, we can kill you right here, right now. Blah blah blah. But and then like 6 days after, you can go watch this one. This was a good one. But he said the phones being wiped after being stolen, and others too scared to come forward. Saying I think this was released by, I don't know if it was the BBC or the Daily Mail or whoever, but they had corroborated like text message came from former people in his unit. So this one was actually interesting to me because have there been people murdered, killed, tortured, blah blah blah, families threatened over this shit? Absolutely. But they talk about implied like they saw these boxes or crates that had oxygen in them or just any sort of gas. And then it was like implied like human trafficking. Now that's where I actually, as someone who has personal contact with non-human intelligence, who has had more confirmation from federal governments unsolicited than anybody else on this fucking planet, that has proven this shit myself, that can communicate personally, well, human trafficking as a business guy, I just don't think it'll be a viable business. And so the biggest difference for me on this one was, again, confirmed they have craft, confirmed they have materials, confirmed they have got the machines to work somehow. But that's like a functional utility, meaning like you might have a spaceship over here and make it move a little bit, or have it some vibration, or have this material change something, or the hum of the vibration. But can you actually like drive it around like a utility box truck and go move stuff? And so if it's actual human beings doing that, which I would have no clearance or way to verify that, but I would say that's definitely a possibility or realistic. Then also there's just aliens, non-human intelligences that don't have, or that are extremely anatomically similar to us. And so because they have American accents, we get clandestine American things, people have come up to me and literally said we can do basically whatever we want, absolutely bona fide real. But the human trafficking part just doesn't seem viable as a business thing to me. It's like how many kids from Malaysia or Indonesia are you going to have to steal to feed your crew when you have the defense budget at your disposal? So it's like the human trafficking from a business standpoint. From a nefarious standpoint, meaning is people fucked up to do that, absolutely. Again, absolutely people have been killed over this shit, absolutely 100,000 million %. But I said these people have math subjects, so I just don't give a fuck. So if I got suicided, I could not even begin to care because my life quality is legitimately zero. And when I die, mathematics stops for 100,000 years, and every human being or organism or individual that walks or comes across this planet will hear about me. And 3 generations of your family won't even remember your first name. So the interesting thing to me was the functionality. If it was actually just straight up human beings operating an alien spacecraft, and that would be impressive to me. It's very possible. Again, this is out of my depth of what I would know. But the human trafficking as a viable business opportunity doesn't seem likely. And so it could be they were transporting, if they found a craft or whatever, down to craft, they could be transporting aliens and things and just not oxygen. Or they breathe oxygen and it's just an alien in there, you don't know. So I don't like the speculation. Again, it could be real, but as strictly sticking to facts and shit that I've known and have been confirmed to me for real, for sure, no questions asked. The human trafficking, I'm a little skeptical on that. Aliens everywhere, civilizations everywhere. My intuition can't get past the Earth. They have at least 2 bodies. They have several crafts. They can clearly move them. It is new to me that they can functionally use them. But anyone involved in that type of just like human being, like what level, like how many military dicks do you have to suck, and how many kids in Afghanistan do you actually have to accidentally mow down before you get into one of these groups? Like how do you get one of those fucking jobs? And so I don't think it's, because I saw some people on Reddit questioning, like, how many people would have to be involved, like, if there's 10,000 of these people or whatever, how about the cooks, where do they stay, families, blah, 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 which I think is very legitimate. But again, this stuff has been confirmed to me. The reality is I don't think it's that many people, right? They have a couple crafts, it's a very tight-knit group. Certainly it's global. I mean, we weren't even sure about those French dudes existed, but they called me crazy in the pool because I can So, cool beans. And I passed all their tests, so what's going on, guys? But regardless, that is what I wanted to cover on that. And it's casual treason. It's extreme treason from any clandestine group anywhere on the globe committing fraud or or circumcising information. But I also wanted to push back on like the implications of the technology. Or you'll see stuff like they'll never release it because they're so nefarious because it will collapse global healthcare, for example. And it's like, again, are they nefarious? Do they kill people? Absolutely. But time moves forward, and it's like if you have more healthy people, that's more consumers. So if you understand economy, you have more people that are alive and healthy, you're gonna make way more money than this nefarious, everyone's out there to do money. It's like more people are more scared about national security probably, which would be the thing, is the soldiers killing other soldiers. It's like, which again happens in any fucking war, right? Go in Vietnam, how many stories of soldiers finding, Marines finding other Marines raping people and killing them. And so it's very, once you're in the game of this is life or death, and you see something disgusting, well then, your badges and symbols really don't mean that much. But regardless, like for healthcare, for example, when they're saying, there's some bona fide material, we have some ships, even though we can fly them around real fast, maybe have a better response helicopter, but I don't see how it would influence healthcare. When again, people have brain damage to was it Greer or who was the guy? I think it was Greer, the neuroscientist that worked on these people. It's like stuff can cause damage to people, so it's like probably like the accelerations, the turning it on, turning it off, maybe. But again, just depends. The fact that I'm so intimately involved in this discovery, you guys haven't pulled me into the group, is just fucking fuck you. Your kids go to schools getting fraudulent degrees from me, and I'm coming for them. It's fucking war. Fuck you. Suicide me if you want. I don't care. Like, literally couldn't care. It stops for 100,000 years once you do. So, but like, I don't think it would solve complete disclosure, like really have much implication on healthcare. Would have good implication on technology, but if we don't have the material and we can't manufacture it, we can do the geometry, but then you're just like, if it's from this star three light years away or farther, it's like we can't really manufacture that willy-nilly, so it really wouldn't affect transportation that much. There's just some small amount of limited recovered materials. And so I really push back about like, this big global like scam of money, and it would fix healthcare and stuff like that. It's like, no, aliens everywhere, civilizations everywhere, observation everywhere, no more than going to the zoo, data collection to see how our civilization progresses. Anatomy is just like ours and substantially different than ours. But I want to ban interdimensionality. Nothing is coming. I don't need an alien or a human or anybody to tell me that you can't travel interdimensionally. It doesn't exist. Now, continuity of life, meaning how like an octopus, right? It can maneuver its body in a lot of different ways because of its just lack of bone structure. So stuff like that is certainly everywhere. But overall, a lot of buzz on the UFOs, and just disclose it, man, or don't. Again, I don't care. Like, aliens are so little to my portfolio, and I want to run a business. I don't give a single fuck about aliens. I don't give a single fuck about it. Any one of my 15 careers, I just want one of them to work so I can pay my bills. That is it. So moving on to other topics. PGA announces merger with Live Golf Tour, backed and hosted in Saudi Arabia. Here in America, we have so many values. We would never ever take something for money. Okay, that's an absolute fucking joke. And so morally, I don't really care because, right, the big thing is the bombers from 9/11 were Saudis. Yeah, we've covered the physics of that, so I'm sure that's what happened. Yeah, totally. Again, absolutely. Again, I rescind all of my statements. 9/11 was definitely committed, and it is super possible to fall down with zero air resistance. And so we just covered a story where these clandestine forces can kill soldiers and do literally confirmed to me verbatim, we can do basically whatever we want. It was definitely those Saudis and that jet fuel that can't melt steel beams. It just magically, physics didn't exist there because we don't want to accept things we don't like. So yeah, to the entirety of the blame of the terrorism attacks of 9/11 are on Saudi Arabia. Totally serious. Totally serious. Chris Christie announces 2024 bid for the presidential election. Wow, Chris Christie, let's go. How fucking fat are you, brother? Oh, you struggled with your weight your whole life? You struggled with your behavior your whole life. You chose to stop learning, and so you didn't develop anymore. And I'm over here and I can't eat properly because I can't pay my bills and I can't socialize. 7 years running. But you didn't struggle with your weight, you struggle with your behavior when you stop learning, and then you just revert and you just demonstrate the insecurities of your group. Oh, I want some compassion because I've struggled. Oh, grow up. How many boomers do we have to tell to grow up before they actually do? It's never going to change.
Apple's Vision Pro is released at $3,500. Cool beans. I will probably never be touching one of those. Definitely not $3,500 ever. And I bought one like VR headset that was like $100, the lower end ones, just to try it out, and it wasn't very interesting to me. So I'm not sure what the functionality would be. I'm sure over time it'll get better in terms of just like glasses, like Terminator style glasses where it can process some data in a meaningful, useful way. But at $3,500, I definitely cannot afford to toy around with that. 2 dead and 5 injured from a shooting in a Huguenot High School in Virginia. 36-year-old father and his 18-year-old son killed. Nice little graduation ceremony going on. Pop, pop, pop. Got to get them Glocks out, them SIGs, them FNs, them 4.5s, them 3.8s, them big 50s, and blast. Just start squeezing. Great way to celebrate a high school graduation. 16-year-old teen is imprisoned in Turkey for drawing a Hitler mustache on Erdogan's poster. Insulting the president resulted in 16,753 convictions in 2022. And so I just wanted to take that. So we have our great leader, Erdogan, and I wanted to draw that analogy to our Bible read-through. Right? Praise God the highest. All good things come from God. All good things come from God. Oh, Hitler's our supreme leader. Oh, Kim Jong-un is our great supreme leader. Don't you see that's the same thing? Don't you see how it's the same exact logical thing? There's not one thing different about that. That's just a history book, and they're just praising their leader or their heritage. Yeah, that's what's occurring. But if you don't praise your leader and don't say he's the best, then you get convicted. You think that was better 3,500 years ago? Of course, you're going to be like, praise God, in the Word of God. It's like they're just respecting their heritage, and they can come at the cost of death. So that's good. Air quality is in the Northeast is severely affected by Canadian wildfires. I could personally definitely tell in Ohio. I went out again as healthy as I can tell. Not exercising much right now because of my back, honestly. And I'll do walks when I can, but my back is just, I need health care. I really, really need health care. Please someone help me. Or give me a time for me to manage my money and I can help myself. But I literally went outside again, like to spend my time outside if my neighbors aren't, or my one neighbor is not threatening me for standing on my yard because I'm just doing derivation and enjoying the day. But I could definitely feel like, just like breathing, it was just like, not hard, but it was just like, this kind of feels like shit. And so I've been inside during that. I think it's kind of resolved. That was probably about, this has been 10 days since I've made one of these. So that was probably like a couple days ago, more so than right now. Don't know, haven't checked. Donald Trump indicted under the Espionage Act for the second time. Will plead not guilty. 37 counts in the indictment. I think he was arraigned yesterday, and today is June 14th, 2023. He says he faces up to 400 years in prison. And, well, if you committed crimes, you go to jail. Thanks for playing. Damon John files restraining order against the contestants from Bubba's Boneless Ribs. John says saying that is a lie about him restricting profits or taking the business away from Bubba and the family, which is interesting, an interesting update to see because this, remember, again, I don't watch Shark Tank anymore because Mark Cuban is committing casual treason as well. All of these people are, again, anybody with any sort of platform that is aware of my work, newscast reporters, people with social media followers, if you're in the YouTube game, I am going to run you over. Anybody, any business distributing licensures from a state needs to cite their sources of where they were influenced and where their work came from, which is me. It is what it is. And so I actually have an infinite H index, and I actually cannot get employment. And I'm over here trying to apply like Lowe's because I can't be a department chair in Belgium or something, just be in a different country, teach some science, be on a university campus where there's not school shootings every 5 minutes. That is what I want. At this point, I want my own university. But the interesting thing from the Shark Tank was I specifically remember Damon John being like, this is probably going to be his biggest business besides FUBU or whatever, because he had a patent on boneless ribs, or deboning boned ribs, which has a clear utility for me in having it patented. Again, as somebody with a patent with 13 years left on it, I'll probably never get a product just simply because the FDA is incompetent. They are committing fraud by not publishing scientific information that has direct relevance to understanding medicine, literally. But that was interesting to see because he definitely said that was probably going to be one of his biggest businesses. So I watched some more Ben Shapiro, unfortunately. And congratulations to Brett Cooper. You were part of the Daily Wire. You were being sued. If you're on YouTube and I see you pop up on my screen a lot, there is no chance you're not aware of my work if you're a part of one of these groups where they say it is what it is every 5 minutes, and I can bona fide go through all of these videos and show you exactly where you're thinking about me. Like, exactly. And I do this all day. That's how I do my derivation. But he says, the Jewish tradition doesn't say anything about a soul mate. Not really sure why I wrote that down. But he said, the Bible does say going back to an ex-spouse is an abomination, in the same way being a homosexual is an abomination. But just the generality of religion. I forget, again, this was a clip I watched, I can't remember what it was exactly referring to. But it's just like, religion, again, we have like 3 kind of parts, right? Or 4, we'll call it 4 parts, I don't know. We have human beings, individuals trying to learn about the world around them. Then we have the Catholic Church, or the church, or the, one of the 3 Judaism, Islam, or Christianity, as in terms of like the collective knowing of that. And then you just have the actual Bible itself. And so the, just like seeing again, as that is like, if it's any sort of like special book, first of all, then the concept of God, we're going to go through just like what religious people say, and has no relevance to anything of actual fact. And so, I don't know really what I wanted to talk about for the generality of religion. But he said Jewish women absorb the customs of Jewish men. Cool beans. But see, that's the thing, is just as a human being, you should learn to grow up and be able to behave for yourself. So you know how to behave, you have values, and you don't need a book or another man to teach you how to behave. You should just learn about the world around you and care. Give a shit. But I can't remember the exact clip, so I can't remember why I'm writing these points down. Oh, but 4 kids survived 40 days in the jungle in Colombia. Yeah, Americans would definitely be dead in like 5 minutes because they can't watch TikTok to figure out how to purify water. And so glad to see those kiddos survive. U.S. citizen detained in Russia on drug charges. Musician and producer living in Moscow for 2 months before trial. Living in Moscow 2 months, and there's 2 months. He lived in Moscow for 10 years, and there's 2 months to the trial. And so it'll be held till then. He was alleged for like enticing young people to do drugs or something, or distributing. I don't know if it was actually distribution. But not much to say there. Pat Sajak to leave Wheel of Fortune after 40 years as co-host with Vanna White. I think Vanna White's still staying. But again, how do you even get a job like that? Like, how do you get the one person where it's just like, yeah, man, you can just go read some trivia questions or do a word game and you get paid $15 million a year? How do you even get that job? You know, Pat Sajak is, I don't know how old he is, he's probably close to 80. So he probably didn't get the job till about 30 to 40. I don't know, just working at the news station and auditioning, I guess. No, again, at this point, I would do anything. Any job where I got like health insurance, dental insurance, a phone bill, or just something. Again, I want to do something. At this point, I make these YouTube videos, no one watches them. I'm just trying to get to 1,000 videos just as like a personal accomplishment. But I want to do something. I want to get out in the world and do something, and I can't because nobody will network with me. And everybody that knows what's going on, literally everybody knows, but nobody will help me. Why? When tables turn, I will not help you or your families. Author Cormac McCarthy dies aged 89. Definitely knew the name. I feel like that's an author I might have read in high school once or twice for a book project, but can't remember any actual titles. But a popular American author. 2 dead after Japanese cadet opens fire at the gun range during training. Some more high-quality individuals. Glad to see we're rocking it over in Japan, which Japan has notoriously low, I think violence rates in general, but just at least certainly gun violence rates. So, but I think it was in a military installation, and so didn't really read much into that. And then finally, obviously got to finish it off with a shooting in America. Many injured after gunfire erupts in Denver following a celebration parade. More games, play games and come all day. All right, all the NBA players getting paid big money. We win the games. Now we get to go to all the privileged people who have the time and money to take the day off of work and go just cheer on and pay $15 for a beer and then $300 for their group's dinner, let alone an actual expensive group where it'd be like $1,200 for a big dinner and blow $2,000 in a day celebrating. I live in the real world and everybody else lives in La La Land, which is privileged. Go to college, cheat for a couple semesters, blackout drunk 5 nights a week, have no skill sets, and then get a job from your fraternity brother's dad at his law firm. Yeah. But I don't have networking capacity, and then people in my direct family will tell me I deserve to be in this position, and who would even want to help you? Yep, that does really good for the self-esteem. And again, my name's Brad. I unified the natural sciences 7 years ago. I'm the most prolific scientist and guitar composer probably in human history. I mean, scientist, bona fide, musician. I don't see anybody else with 39 or 35, how many extended musical compositions, along with my own original compositions or songs, like lyrics and cover songs as well. So I'm working every minute of every day to try to get something to help, but I need somebody to help me. I can't beat a global conspiracy. Like, I can't. And so I just put up content because I still have to do something with my day. I still have to do something. But please, at this point, just find a way to give me money. There are so many ways to give me fucking money, and it's mine. It's my property, and this is America. Remember, all fraudulent statements about history will be prosecuted to the fullest extent. Whether it's today, tomorrow, in 10 years, 100 years, 1,000 years, whenever this fucking world changes. And all of these clandestine fucks committing like big treason, and all of Mark Cuban's and Lex Friedman's and Eric Weinstein's and Brian Keating's and all of you other fucking idiots, Joe Rogan and Andrew Huberman, you guys will just get old and die, and your legacy is how you treated me, like literally. Like, you have slowed down science. That is what you'll be remembered for. Not Joe Rogan episode number 1134 with Lex Friedman. No one's gonna remember that shit. Nobody cares. Because science gets proven, and you guys just talking about nothing won't be interesting, right? In the same way, movies age and music age is like nobody's rocking music from the 20s, really. And so nobody's gonna be rocking podcasts from today in 20 years. They're just not. And so you guys have sown your own legacy straight into the fucking dirt, and you're committing crimes that will be prosecuted. The end, the done, suicide me, I don't care. If that happens, I want indiscriminate shilling. I might have mispronounced the word there, shilling, but I want indiscriminate shilling if something were to happen or threaten me. So that is what it is. You know, I'm obviously not threatening anybody. I just like to I want everyone to be shilled if anyone ever touches me or threatens me. So thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next one if there is one. Definitely get this series to 200. But everybody is very committing casual treason or substantial treason. But the reality is, the maturity of our species is thinking that genuine scientific denial is like healthy scientific skepticism, and it isn't. It's bona fide. This shit has been confirmed to me over 2 years ago, and I'm the one that had intimately involved in this discovery. And so these are just cranked off government officials that have found some spacecraft and shelter themselves among the concept of national security. They're literally just little brutes with guns. So fuck your entire families. You guys are committing extremely serious treason. But again, so is the FDA. So is anybody not disseminating scientific information about healthcare, let alone aliens. It's just like nobody knows how to behave. And if they don't feel responsibility for it, they think and they can't change their worldview, and they have a reasonable position to deny it, there is no chance they will do anything besides commit crimes instinctually, and they'll just be not knowing what they're doing. So thank you for watching Language, Litigation, and Integration Part 199, Casual Treason, and I will see you on the next one.